All right, what's up, everyone? You're tuning in to Layno Pod the LaynoProd podcast. We have episode 5 featuring a good friend of mine, David Dorsey. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you, David?
What's going on, James? Good to see you again, man. Yeah, my name is David Dorsey. Right now, I'm currently a business administration student at Cal State Dominguez Hills, and yeah, right now I'm still trying to figure out my career path. But the current plan is to pursue a career in the human resources, specifically in recruiting, because over the past couple of years, I don't know if you actually know this, James, but like one of my main passions in life is making sure people are secure in their jobs, making sure that they have all the tools they need to do their job well, and also making sure people are placed into positions where they're going to excel and they're going to strive in the long run. And yeah, I'm just a young man living here in Southern California, trying to figure out loving God, loving life.
Nice, dude. So, for the people that are listening, how are you, like, because I know you're still in school, right? So, just let them know what's your situation. I'm sure a lot of people are in a similar boat in terms of what this quarantine is doing to either their plans for a job or internship afterwards, or how they're doing classes or graduation. Just you could just speak on any of that.
Mm. Yeah, so for me, and I'm sure anyone else that's in the class of 2020, things have been kind of a little confusing, a lot up in the air, like factors at play, and a lot of stuff that people really don't even know what's going to happen. But as far as me, my situation at Cal State Dominguez Hills, currently the commencement ceremony's been canceled with plans to possibly postpone it towards the summer, but no official word has come out yet. And as far as my classes go, for now, they've been moved fully online with I guess kind of minimal interaction from the professor via like Zoom meetings or like discussion board posts. The standard kind of online class, uh, issues and tasks. And as far as finding a job and everything, that's the part that's been more of a struggle for me because as I'm sure you and everyone else is looking for a job now, this is like the peak hiring season for new college grads, and this is the time when recruiters are usually hosting a lot of like networking events, or usually out in the communities, out in college campuses, trying to find people that are about to graduate that might make a viable addition to their team. And now that we're on quarantine and there's not these events that can go on, or if you haven't already made a connection with someone that you can like call or like voice chat, it's made it kind of difficult to reach out to people now. So that's one thing that I've kind of been struggling with. But there have been a lot of other like new opportunities that have opened up because of this whole thing. Like I've seen actually on LinkedIn, someone sent me an invite to an e-conference thing. It's like a kind of a small like Zoom meeting basically, where there's a couple different recruiters placed into like a Zoom call, and then they'll send out invites to people like beforehand that might be interested in applying for a position, and then they can talk with different people that are applying and talk with recruiters, gain more information about the position. But yeah, it's definitely not the most like comfortable and not the way that I usually go about things when I'm trying to get a job. But it's the best we got right now.
Right. I mean that's some good news that they're still having those networking opportunities, even if it's online. Have you heard people that are like, I guess, on the verge of being accepted, or people that did get it? And what does that mean from them? Like, are they just gonna work from home, or how does that even work?
Well, for me and my personal network, I actually don't know anyone that's been able to find a job right now. And the people that I do know that have proceeded in the hiring process, they've been hit with oh, okay, well, you seem like a really great person, but we're not really trying to hire anyone with everything going on right now. So
Damn.
yeah, it's that's got to be pretty tough to hear. And especially for one of my homies, he had a job at Disney actually lined up that was supposed to start at like any one of these days actually, and he had like got into the final interview and everything, and then once the official quarantine hit Los Angeles, Disney was like, oh, okay, sorry, we got a hiring freeze, we're gonna have to like delay your application a couple months. And
Damn.
yeah, it's pretty rough.
cause like that sucks to hear, man. Cause like right now I'm also currently unemployed. Like my internship in the Bay ended end of January.
Mm,
So when I came back, I was like, okay, let's go apply to places I want to hit up, and like a lot of them are like gone pretty much.
mm,
So that leads me to think like, okay, I guess yeah, why not just? I know some grocery stores are hiring and all that, but part of me is also like, is am I kind of putting myself at risk or my parents at risk if I'm like
mm,
always in that environment? That's where I'm at right now, because like I'm
mm,
at the point where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get like the stimulus check from the government and all that, and but like I'm still behind rent and behind my bills, because like normally the amount I'm paying would be covered if I started my internship, but I chose to not extend that, so it's time for me to pretty much get a job. Um,
mm,
have you? Because I have a friend. He's one of my good high school friends. He works at Costco, and I was
mm,
like, "Yo, how is it there, man? It's probably crazy." He's like, "Yeah, dude. Like people would line up at 6 a.m. and we don't even open till 9." And
mm,
he'll be like, "But hey, man, more hours means more money." So I'm chilling. I'm like, "Hey, that's props to you, dude. Like I'm happy to hear that." But
mm.
now I'm thinking like, should I hit him up? Like, yo, they're hiring people at Costco, you know?
Yo,
Like I'm trying to get this bread, you know?
mm.
So have you heard of like, is there any, or have you tried looking, or have you heard certain friends where there are new openings online, like working from home type of things, or is it a lot of it is just like, if if the essential quote unquote essential places are the ones that are looking only to hire as of now, at least in LA.
Mm. Well, from at least from what I see and what I hear on like LinkedIn or from people I know, there's a lot of like online only like admin positions opening up in Los Angeles. And actually, Amazon, they have a couple new openings for like human resource administrative positions. You know, because
Okay.
they're taking on a whole bunch of new like staff right now, so they need help kind of like I guess keeping up with like the day to day like paperwork or like the like new hire orientation, and I'm sure they figured out a way to make that whole process fully online because Amazon and like any really delivery service right now is going to be crazy busy, crazy overwhelmed with everything going on. But yeah, as far as finding online only positions for like what's your interest like music and music production
I mean,
like
it doesn't even have to be music. That's where I'm at. I'm like, I mean,
mm,
I just gotta take anything, man. Cause like, I mean, unless like our landlord like is cool with us not paying, then I'm like, but that's up in the air too. So it's like, I just gotta take whatever's open. I think at this point.
yeah, I feel that. Well, yeah, honestly, I'd say the best bet for you or anyone else trying to find like it's like a quarantine job, something to like kind of get you through things would just be try to send out as many applications as you can to people looking for like admins or people that are looking for. I know some people are actually hiring like personal couriers like on Craigslist.
Oh shit!
So, like, yeah, like if you're able to like
Deliver like their stuff to.
yeah, like especially for like older people living in like kind of like at-risk communities, like there's like a big need for people that need like, or even just someone to like check on them, make sure that they're like good, like make sure that they're like getting their like daily like tasks done, making sure they're like bathing, everything, like staying healthy through this whole thing. So there's like odd jobs and things opening, but as far as like real careers, it's real tough right now. Or like yeah, I don't know. It's and I feel you on that too. I'm actually unemployed at the moment too, but I got school keeping me busy, so I think that's what I'm mainly be focusing on right now. Mm.
That's good, man. I even heard like Instacart started hiring like way more people now.
Mm.
Cause like, I mean, my mom personally uses Instacart to do like Costco runs and whatnot.
Mm.
It's like any of those delivery jobs would help. And then I have another friend who's like taking care of like this older person. So
Mm.
it's like there are definitely those jobs for sure. Are what places are you looking at besides Craigslist and LinkedIn, or are those like what are the main um, platforms or sources that you go to? to find those? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's mainly LinkedIn, yeah, like Craigslist for the odd jobs. That's kind of, or really just is reaching out to like old professors will usually like have their ears open, especially in like the business departments at school. They're always getting hit up for like, especially like internships. But yeah, as of right now, I feel like LinkedIn is probably like the best bet, at least for me, and like what I'm interested in, what I'm good at.
Dang, I might. That got me thinking. I might just actually like email some of my professors, to be honest, because some of my professors are in the industry too, and they're like, I mean, a lot of music, entertainment, a lot of those industries, because no more, not much sessions going on. Live
Mm,
is pretty much out of the picture right now, because
yeah.
not no concerts are happening. So it's like I should not overlook the school I went to like years ago, not even years ago, literally last year. But dude, to me, college feels like a blur, and sometimes I could take for granted or overlook. Like, if these people can't provide an opportunity, I feel like they could at least refer me to someone that can, just because
Mm.
like I made that connection. I mean, that's crazy, man. Like, have you thought about like reaching out to your professors in Cal State Dominguez Hills, or um, yeah, what how are they dealing with it right now? Do you know, or if you're close with any of the professors, or
Um, yeah, actually, through this whole like quarantine like school setup we got going, I've actually gotten like kind of close to like a lot of my professors actually, and kind of sad to say they're just as confused and scared like as like a lot of the students. Like
right,
I've,
right?
I've had one of my professors actually like petition to move our class entirely to the fall semester, which
Mm.
I'm like, hold on, don't do that. I'm still trying to graduate. But make sure we're clear on that. But
That's funny.
she's trying to work it out, to make sure we're still able to finish it. But yeah, as far as professors being able to stay on track with their like curriculum and still being able to like open up opportunities for students, I've seen that it's I feel like the professors that really like care and are able to like reach out to students, they will. But for the professors that are like part time or like especially to have another job on the side, I'm sure it's going to be like real tough for them to be able to like go that extra mile that they usually would. Like even one of my business professors in one of my sports facilities management class, who was the first one that told us that like, oh, just so you guys know, like I had a field trip planned for us to go visit AEG, like their
Oh shoot.
headquarters. I'm sure they're like very big in like events planning, and
Yeah, yeah.
um, they're not their company, but one of their like affiliate companies was putting on Coachella,
Yep, yep, yep. Live
and
Nation, AEG.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then he was one to tell us, oh yeah, Coachella's probably going to get like postponed this year, so if you got tickets, you should probably like sell those quick. Um, and he was right, you know.
Did you get Coachella tickets or?
No, I didn't. I wished. Well, at the time, I wished I had, but now I'm glad I didn't.
I have a friend who bought it just to see Travis, and I'm like, oh man, I feel so bad for him.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's rough.
I got the K-pop group BTS.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I got BTS tickets, not for me, but like to flip it,
Mm,
bro. Now it's like I don't even know who wants to buy it, if they're gonna even refund it or postpone it. Like that's up in the air. So I'm like sitting here with a ticket, like pretty close to the stage. It's like it would
mm,
have been worthy at the time, literally a month or two ago, and then now it's like, well,
mm.
I mean, that happened to me and my brother, dude. Like, I kid you not. One of the reasons why we went to Japan was to see a K-pop concert, right?
Okay.
And we show up, like, we take a train further from Tokyo. We go to Yokohama, and we didn't even check the website to see if it was canceled. So we
Mm.
showed up in the arena, and like nobody was there. And there was a sign, and it read in English, if you translated it, and it was canceled. And I was like,
Oh,
we're so dumb. Like we went all the way here, so now we're trying to get a refund for that, and it's
mm.
like, yeah, man, just so many things up in the air. I'm curious to see what are you doing to like, I don't know, manage or like stay sane. Like I mean I've definitely mentioned this on previous podcasts and other people that ask me. Like I personally just try to like after like 1 or 2 weeks of like working on something, because it gets repetitive and routine and you're stuck in the same environment, especially us, we're used to like socializing with people in real life. Like
Right.
in my opinion, I have to switch it up. I have to like try new things because it's like,
Mm.
or else I'm just gonna go crazy, man. But like a week or two ago, I definitely like tried switching things up in my routine and whatnot, and like reaching out to people like you and other friends just to like see how everyone's doing, and like I kind of need that social interaction. Other people don't. Like other people are thriving right now, which is dope, you know. Whether
Yeah.
it's they prefer to stay at home or they prefer to like not be in large settings, and it's like it's all good. But I'm curious to see like, since me and you are similar in terms of like the social aspect, like what are you doing, or have you found ways? If not, like what's your thoughts on that? Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's actually that that part was I'm still trying to figure that out for myself, honestly.
All good, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn from my introverted friends and how they get things. uh, Just like, yeah, I think after like the first week of me not being able to like go kick it with like the homies over at campus, I was talking to a friend over the phone. I was like, man, like I don't know how I'm gonna like make it through this quarantine, man. Like I need like my social interaction. Like I need to talk to my friends like every day. And he's like, David, like maybe this is a sign that you're like overly dependent. I'm like,
Oh shoot, yeah, that too, man. That's probably it, man. To be real, yeah.
yeah, but like on a real level, I think like being able to stay sane. I've been relying on music a lot. Like just I'm blessed to be able to have a home in these times and be able to kind of like have my own room and kind of like isolate myself. Like when I need to listen to some music, it's gonna put me in a good like state of mind. Or I'll try to go on like some short walks like around my neighborhood. Or,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just staying focused on my schoolwork too can help keep my mind off things. I'll try not to watch the news too much because I don't know about you, but I'm one of those guys. When I see something on the news, like it's like just some craziness, then I start to overthink it. And I'm like, oh man, what if this happens next? What if that happens next?
Exactly. You just fall into a deep hole, and like
Mm.
literally, I won't say who, but I had a good friend of mine like message me out of the blue, like, "Yo, you hear about this? What? Lo and behold, more bad news, right?" I told
Mm.
him, I was like, "Yo, man, like, what did I say? Man, I gotta look at my message to see exactly what I said, but I said something along the lines of like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to see things in a positive light. I'll soak
Mm.
in the facts, but I can't soak in too much negativity because
Mm.
I'm like trying to treat each day by day. Because like, I mean, there's not a lot of good news out there. Like we know that, and some are helpful more than the others, but like a lot of the media outlets amplify it. Like my parents would see something on the TV or Facebook, and it's like kind of blown out of proportion. Well, some of it are facts, but it's like I kind of do that on my own. Like I'll listen to like a scientist or like a medical expert, like someone that's actually like in the field, not with no agenda, just reporting straight facts. Like okay, that's the person I'll listen to. And then when
Mm.
I'm done with that, like, well, first I try not to start my day with that because like that's what I learned. However you start your day can literally, without you always knowing, it will affect the whole day. So like you said, I try to start the day off with some good music, man. Like
Mm.
I've been always late on listening into albums, but now I've been actually trying to catch up, and I think those two things, gratitude, like, and listening to music, because like with gratitude, right? If you start the day off with gratitude, like despite like all the negative things that's happening in our world, like if you just like tell yourself or pray or like thank God like for like yo, I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but at least for now, I still have a roof over my head. I still have some food on my plate. Other people have it way worse than me, and like, this is not something I can control personally. And just realizing the little things that you have, that like starting out the day off being thankful like that. That's definitely like helped me, like give me a quick check.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So that, and also like, yeah, like you said, music, man. Like I'm curious, what have you been checking out new albums? There's been so many drops right now, like with
Yeah.
all the artists that we know about that are killing it right now, and a lot of independent ones too. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, and that's actually something I plan on getting more into, like trying to check out new like independent artists that are like up and coming. But Yeah, man, there's been some good music coming out, especially like hip hop, R&B. Like I'm sure you've heard Weekend After Hours. Like that's a
Bro, I have my friend just like kept bugging me to listen to it, and I finally listened to it. I'm like, man, this is one of the top like that I've heard during this like whole break. I like three tracks out of that whole thing. I think I like what's it? Um, Scared to Live.
yeah,
There's that one. Escape to LA and Faith. Like
yeah,
those three are
yeah.
solid. But the whole thing, man, it's like 80s synthesizers. It's like that's influencing my production with like I'm working on an instrumental album with my cousin, and we're like trying to influence a lot of 80s in that project. Um, the Dua Lipa has a lot of 80s synths on there too. Like I don't know if you've heard of it. Her recent project, Future Nostalgia, something like that. Like that one has a lot of instruments. Party Next Door dropped an album. Thundercat. Like
Yep.
who else? Drake been putting out the single.
Drake, oh yeah, he got his TikTok banger.
The TikTok bangers, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably gonna go #1 with that, right? Like,
He's always gonna be number one, and I could do nothing but respect that guy. Even though I'm not the biggest of all his music, I gotta respect how much hustle and hard work and genius he is of knowing how to reach wide audiences from every year. Like, dude, he's been knocking down hits for a whole decade, pretty much. Like,
yeah,
always on the
yeah. As
top.
far as
Yeah.
brand appeal and like maintaining like a level of marketability, like there's no one that does it better than Drake. Like probably music as a whole, honestly, that I would say honestly.
I would like ask you too, like, cause you're a huge like hip hop fan, like you really like Drake, you really like Travis Scott. That's one of our shared like artist interests. I think what is it about them that you're attracted to? Because it's not just the music. I'm assuming, like, and would you consider yourself, I'm curious, like a tastemaker? Like, do people in your friend circle be like, yo, David, like, you could get the aux cord because like, what's the like, what's hot right now, or you know what I mean? Like, do you consider yourself as that first? I wanted to ask, like.
Man, I mean, oof, man, you probably have to ask my homies about that, but like I'd say I'd say yeah, because I usually find my own like music where I usually like try to find like what I like first, and then like if I'm hanging out with someone and they ask me like, oh, you want to put some music on, and I'll be like, hey, have you heard this yet? Like, have you heard this new artist, or have you heard this like old like SoundCloud like leak off of like from like Travis or something? So I'd say yeah, I'm a little bit of a like tastemaker, at least in my own like social circle. But I feel like that's not something that like I feel like anybody can be that, honestly. It just depends on like how well you know like yourself, how well you know your own music taste, and how well you know like the people around you, like what kind of sound they're trying to hear. Um, yeah, to answer your question about like, oh, what is it about the music? I think, especially for right now, I think there's kind of like a dream maker, like a almost like a fantasy aspect, especially with like hip hop, where it's like when you hear people talking about like the life that they're living, and it's like, oh man, that's kind of a life I want to live, and like
Right.
like a whole like aspect of their life, but like specifically with like Drake, how he was able to transfer his image from like a small town like big roll
Aubrey.
actors. Yeah, from Aubrey, like into this big mega rap star, Drizzy Drake, and wanting to see the same for yourself, and I think you can find a lot of inspiration from rap music in that.
But the thing with Drake is like he has the skill to prove it. Like he works so hard. I tell the story to some of my friends that make music because I forgot which interview I heard it from, but apparently there was like this one time when Drake was putting out. I don't know. It was like the early 2010s probably, and that sounds so long ago now that it's 2020. The early 2010s. That's already been a decade, but. He had like a big hit, obviously, and he had a whole party in his house, and everyone was just partying, right? And you couldn't find Drake in the party. They're like, "Where is this guy? Right? Where's the star of the show?" he was upstairs on his house in the room cooking up like another song he was about to put out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's something to look up to, because it's like, even when you would expect this guy to just party, he's still working on his craft. Like
Dedication.
there's dedication, there's no stopping him. Like, so when he does portray, I guess, an image or a persona or a character that he might not be in the beginning but ended up like transforming into,
Mm-hmm.
he was able to back it up because he had all that like hard work behind it. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest though, like, because music is super subjective and my mind's pretty open, I definitely get attracted to some artists who I know they're not living that lifestyle or putting that hard work. They blow up for a second or two. I'm like, oh, that was a cool song. But then, like, it is true. I just stop listening to them after the fact. Yeah. But, like, even with, like, Travis, right? Like, he had longevity, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
from the jump, he's always been working on his craft. And, like, it even, like, I'm just remembering it from my head, the documentary he put out. Have you seen it? The Look Mom Like a Fly on Netflix? Or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like his reaction to the Grammys when he didn't win for Astroworld, he lost to Cardi B. I was like, damn, like that was one of his greatest projects to that day. And it's like, I wonder
Mm-hmm.
what he's gonna do to top it. And obviously,
Mm-hmm.
we don't need a Grammy to like prove that Travis is one of the best right now. But still, it just goes to show, like, damn, I'm kind of scared of, if I ever had a chance to be at that level, because like the dark side of that seems like they're never satisfied. You know what I mean? Which is
Yeah,
like,
never satisfied, and then it's like when you do fail, you're on such a big stage that it's like magnified,
yep.
right? Like I know all the memes that you're gonna see like from Travis, like after the Grammys or like after. I don't know how you felt about his Super Bowl performance, like a couple years ago. He came
I
out.
didn't like it with the
Nah,
SpongeBob. The auto tune was not hitting right, you know, and like, yeah. I, I
but yeah,
I think like, I think that's the thing with Travis though. Is like, as much as he is my favorite artist, I won't say I like every song from him, but I do like 90% of the stuff he puts out.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And it's like, I think for when I started doing like more of a trap sound and started using auto tune, like that's the guy I look to. I mean, Birds till this day is still my favorite album. It's ever since
Mm,
my friend got me into him, and now I'm like not so inclined to try to make music like him, because like
mm,
I think everyone has their influences, right? Like Travis has like Kid Cudi and Kanye, right? Like everyone has their influences, but I feel like if you're an artist that's just trying to copy one person, it's gonna show, you know, like. But like, even like people say, I don't know if you agree with this, but like Roddy Ricch, right? You can kind of hear like the Young Thug influence in that, but there's also like other influences in it too, and his voice is his voice, which kind of gives him like his own sound. You know what I mean? So
mm,
it's like, I think that's where I'm at right now, because like I'm definitely now more into trying stuff that is like kind of like out of the box, like just out left the field. Like, again, like I said with the instrumental album I'm working on with my cousin, like I'm like, the first beat I made off of it, like I'm using like an 80s drum kit, you know, like acoustic drums, like heavy reverb and whatnot, like not even using an 808 kit, you know what I mean? And that's
mm.
why I really love like the not Field of Love, the Kids See Ghosts project with Kanye and Kid Cudi, because that just sounded like, what is this? Like, what era are we in? I don't even know.
That's,
Yeah,
yeah, that's one thing that Kanye is definitely the best at, blending different genres, blending different eras of hip hop. Like he, nobody does it better than him. Like however you feel about him, you know. But yeah, and it's funny. I think you said something interesting about like Roddy Ricch having like a Young Thug influence. I feel like you know, if you look at Travis, like early on in his career, you can definitely see a lot more of like where his influences were kind of lying, and I think that's something I see in like young hip hop artists, like whenever they're coming up or whenever they progress in their career, as their sound like evolves, it becomes more of like their own sound, you know, like the more that they try out, like, oh, let me see what this sounds like on a track, or let me take that like flow and put that to this type of beat, you know. and being able to figure out like more of what their own like personality brings to like their sound, you know.
Would you say people are more into the person than the actual music in general, or and maybe it's a different answer for up and coming artists versus like people that already are up there, or what have you noticed, or you don't pay attention to that stuff that much, or
I think I don't know, I think especially now in like the social media age, and you know, where like part of your marketability as a rapper especially is kind of who you are, what your upbringing is. I think definitely like a lot of it is who the person is, and like what kind of their story is, because that's a lot of what hip hop is, right? It's telling your own story, right? And you know, if people aren't vibing with your story, or if they're like, ah, that's not super interesting, right? I think that's why people have such an issue with like industry plants, right? They want
name them, bro. Name them. Who's the industry plant?
I hear for not all of it, but
No, no, for real? Wait. I
I
never heard
love
about
Don
that.
Toliver. I love Don Toliver, but
Wait, no way. I never heard about that. I didn't even know. People think he's. Do you think he's an industry plant? I don't know.
maybe.
Maybe.
I think he was just like he had obviously like put in the work, and that's not to say that he wasn't. He's not like a hardworking individual, right? I was just watching his I think his Breakfast Club interview like right before Heaven or Hell dropped, and he was talking about how he first got introduced to Travis, and there
Yeah.
was like so much like legwork that he did on his own, but right even before he got like the co-sign from Travis, right? Um,
Wait,
so even
before you go on to there, can you tell me what he did, if you remember, like to meet somebody like Travis, or because wait, is Don Toliver's from Houston too, right? Or
yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah. From what I remember, he did a lot of reaching out to clubs, reaching out to radio shows, and you know, trying his best to get his stuff played like at whatever like small or big venue he could, and you know, just he like talked a little bit about some of like the the dirty stuff he did, like make money on the side for like studio time, right?
Right.
Which I ain't gonna judge, like
Right.
he do. But yeah, legwork. I guess you could call it networking. Actually, just being
Yeah.
industry connections like on your own, you know. Mm.
That's what I'm always like trying to think about, because like I'm at a point where it's like, should I be focusing more on like networking? I just mentioned this on the previous podcast. Networking up or networking around me, because
Mm.
like it, nothing beats like growing and building with your peers and people
Mm.
that are around where you're at, and those relationships generally last longer. But then you do have the other route. I mean, you could do both, but was um was Don Toliver like collabing a lot with people around him in his level, or was he like finding ways through that hard work and hustle to try to reach to people more above? Because I feel like both can work,
Mm.
but I always get a different answer depending on who I'm asking.
Yeah, well, I feel like in Don Toliver's case, because like I'm not, I only really got like in tune with his sound. Like, of course, I rap Astro World, like the feature on Can't
Yeah, I
Say.
can't say. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then but going back in his discography and seeing some of like the SoundCloud like songs he was dropping, and a lot of his stuff is solo like projects. So it seemed like he was mainly focusing like on his own sound and really trying to tune into what he thought like people wanted to hear from him. And you know, obviously like there's a big like Travis influence there, and you know he pays homage to Travis and all that. So it's not he's denying that he's not like Travis's artist, right? But
Right.
early on, it definitely seemed like he was always looking upwards, I guess. That's your question.
Yeah, cause like, man, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, even in this situation, it's like, how do I reach out to people I wanted to actually link up with in person? But I mean, in my like field and industry, we're kind of used to like already being in front of a computer screen and doing stuff at home. I mean, that's one of the things I liked about Travis on his side of the story, on the documentary, upbringing, all those videos, is a lot of the stuff he made was at home. Like,
Mm.
and he even said in an interview, like, I prefer being at in home than rather than going to the studio. He's like, the studio is cold. Like I'd rather like make that shit at home. It's just more raw, and you tend to get better songs out of that.
Mm.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like even with like industry plants, like I mean, people, I don't know, people agree or disagree with this, but they say like Billie Eilish, right, industry plant, because like
Right.
her parents, their whole family had already connections in the entertainment industry and whatnot. But I
Mm.
gotta give it to him, like her and her brother Phineas, like I mean, yeah, they did get help from the top engineers that work in the studios and have the best equipment,
Mm.
but like a lot of the production that they made was like um, in their bedroom basically. And
Mm.
I think even if they won those awards, I still gotta respect the fact that it was created in the bedroom, whether or not like they rigged it to be like that. I don't know what other people are saying, but like just that
Right.
kind of gives me hope in a way where it's like, yeah, man, everything I've been doing at home, like it already has potential to reach out. You just never know. But right now, I'm trying to focus on um, the few people that like f with my music, because that's
Mm.
like I feel like that's the most important thing. I think like even Travis, he like set a good example. Like he was always repping for Houston, right? Like he was always putting people on that were like in his city, in his neighbor, like his homies basically. So I'm
Right.
like, maybe I should be doing more of that. Maybe I should be working more with people that are from where I'm from and whatever.
Mm.
Because like most likely we all have that same goal.
Right.
So I'm so used to looking like upwards, man. I think it's the byproduct of me going to USC, because like when you go to like such a prestigious school like that, like all these like successful people surround you that you tend to forget. Like some people back home are like they're probably gonna be the next so and so, and because you didn't build that relationship, you didn't get to be part of that ride, that victory. So it's like,
Mm.
man, this quarantine got me assessing my whole career.
Yeah,
It
as
got
it should.
everyone reassessing their whole life. Like,
Yeah, man. No, it's a lot of people are gonna come out of this thing. Different people from what I imagine. Especially, I'm really excited to see what kind of music it's made, like both from you and like from popular artists, right? Like what kind of music is created from like isolation, because I'm not sure who it was. It might have been like Robert Frost actually that said like, oh, like man's like creativity is like best honed in isolation.
mm,
And I think there's some truth to that, but and I definitely feel what you're saying, like being able to like network and like be a part of the story, the people around you. That's important as well, and especially with hip hop, I feel like it should be a reflection of who you are. And I know like you got like your trap sound, but like you got like your LA kind of vibe too, and and if you're not really like wrapped in LA, if you're not really like out here in the community, like connecting to different artists, and a lot of people might have some issue with that.
yeah, you know what? I rarely tell this to people, but you know why I mean, I'd shout out the Valley in LA, like for sure. I mean, like
Mm.
I'll put it on my IG bio and all that, but I rarely make songs that sound quote unquote West Coast or LA.
Mm.
To be honest, I was always scared,
Mm.
because like middle school, high school, like if you rep certain areas or colors, like it would attract some sort of like I don't
Understand.
want no attention from like gangs and stuff that like I'm not that's not me, and I'm not trying to be that, and I don't want to front like I am that. So like, but I guess now because of the internet and whatnot, people are more like open. So maybe I should rep LA more in how I grew up and how I see it and how I experienced it, not of what I think people will like. You know what I mean? Like, to be
Right.
honest, like the West Coast sound, like G Funk, like
Mm.
that was one of the first things that got me into music production. Honestly,
Mm.
like that.
Yeah,
One of my
dog.
favorite producers was DJ Quick and Warren G. Like that
Right.
whole G Funk, like it's like smooth and funky, but like they're doing laid back raps. Like that was my shit, man. Like the first
Mm.
beats I tried to make was G Funk, but I never had like the actual sounds, so it just sounded really bad. So I was like, I'm gonna make this boom back New York shit, because like it's like more doable, but
Mm.
because like with G Funk, you kind of need those certain sounds, but I think I've always had that in me. So I mean, I'm just realizing it through this conversation. Like maybe I should be like repping like the West Coast LA more in that sense, because that is initially what I loved in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like people like I'm very into like Roddy Rich too, because like he's
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely from here, but he's also has influences from a lot of different areas
Right.
that his sound kind of like works in a lot of different areas too, and that's how I kind of see it. And I think that's a product of just like us being in a different time where people are more open and not really care as much and seclude themselves depending on where you're from. So I think I should definitely consider that more. You know, like see how I can like make sure, because like you know, there's a lot of people. A lot of people say this. There's a lot of people in LA, but they're not from LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got a lot of transients and people moving here, moving to Hollywood to make it in the industry, music, entertainment. But like, dude, I was born and raised here. Like, you know what I mean? Were you also born and raised here, or
No, actually, I was born up in Northern California, up in the Bay Area, like up near
what?
Oakland.
Oh
Yeah, I know.
shit!
I'm low-key a little fan. Actually, no, I moved down here. I was 6, so like I've been here, man,
Yeah, I
6.
love the Bay though. Like, as much as I didn't enjoy working there as much, like, there's stuff I like about it. I love their hip hop scene. Like,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm definitely more like a. I feel like I'm more like a SoCal guy now. I mean, I
yeah.
haven't been up there in like I don't know how many years, but yeah, there's definitely that still definitely got love for like up in the Bay Area. Like I definitely, I'm not a musician, but like if I was, I definitely would, be shouting out like the 510 area code. Uh,
That's tight, man. Do you still have homies there that are like, you come back and they're like, it's like good times, or it's more like, you said what, only 6 years old you're, or
Yeah, like 6. I was like real young, but it's funny you said that actually. My childhood like best friend, he just came down here. I want to say a couple like weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago or something. He came down here for the Tame Impala concert,
oh
and he
shit.
he had found me on like Instagram or something. We hadn't spoken for like some years. And, he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, yo, David, what's up? You remember me?" And that's another testament to like how amazing and kind of scary social media is, right? But then I was looking into his stuff and I saw, oh, yo, this guy's making music too, and I was able to like look and see like what he's been up to over the past couple of years, what kind of like sound he has, and it's funny like hearing like his kind of sound is like I almost got kind of like saw some similarities to you, but just like a little more like a NorCal like vibe. But he's pretty dope, I'm not gonna lie.
He got more of a Thiz face on his tracks, or I'm playing. That was bad stereotype. People would come at me for that. Now I'm playing.
Nah. Yeah, but yeah, it's always love. Like whenever whether it's up in NorCal, whether it's down here in SoCal, I feel like as long as you have like some common interests with people, and like you always wish no. My dad always says, "Wish no ill will upon anyone," and that's a philosophy I try to live by. With anybody, whether it's at school or I mean, we met on a mission trip a couple of years
Right,
ago.
right. Shout out to Leo.
Shout out Layup, shout out Lincoln Heights, man.
Yeah,
Shout out Dennis, Pastor Dennis.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to him, man.
Yeah, but yeah, it's always love, man. Mm.
That's good. So, I think like your friend that makes music. Would you say like what level would you say he's at right now? Like you just hearing from him or seeing it from the outside. Like, is he like in the beginning stages? Is he like trying to build his following right now? Is he trying to
Mm.
collab with people, or is he just doing it for fun? Where is he at right now? Do you know? Or
As far as I could tell, I mean, I heard he's part of like a collab group.
mm,
I can't remember what the name of the group is actually, but they have an EP that's out on like most streaming services like Apple Music, Spotify, and I heard the production on it. It sounds like pretty like high quality. So I'd say he's definitely looking to make it like a career. I don't know if he's like at the level yet. Like he's not gonna be like getting played on the radio anytime soon, but definitely
you never
might.
know, man.
Yeah, you never know, right? Like you never know. He might be the next like NorCal like who's NorCal like E40, I guess. But
Oh, that's tight. He raps like that.
a little bit, yeah. But yeah, I think he's definitely at the stage of like doing like small like scale like gigs or who knows, maybe next summer he might be doing some like festival runs. Like let's see, I'll shoot you his IG. You can check him out.
I was about to say, man, like I'm always like trying to find people to work with. I've told that to people previous. Like I'm just trying to like collab more with people in general, man.
Mm.
Like this year, I'm really trying to focus as a producer. As much as I love being an artist and grabbing a mic, and you know that, like I'm
Mm.
really I'm really trying to see how I can like help people. A good producer friend of mine, the previous podcast is Z McD. He's always someone that like focuses on the artist, the song, and like trying to put that vision to life and make that a whole like product basically that you hear. So I'm trying to do that more because I've been doing a lot of solo stuff or like collabs, but it's like with my homies and my cousin where it's like there's still a lot of me on it. I'm curious to see how I can like in some way help crafting someone else's sound or like inspiring them with stuff I do. And like I think you sending me your friends like music and whatnot, like I'll definitely like head them up and see. Like I think we're at a good time period where we're probably not gonna meet each other in person for a while, but like I wish you took a screenshot.
I'll take a snapshot. Sorry.
Now you get. I was like, oh no, we good.
Get one for the gram. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'll definitely get a screenshot of us, and I'll pick out a good one. But I think it's a good time to stop for some questions if you're cool with that. We got a few, and one of them kind of relates to this, to what we're talking about in terms of music. Let's see. Yeah, this is from 626_Stitch the Raver. So that's that's my homie Andre. Shout out to him. He's my homie from high school. This guy's like super into raving and EDM and all that electronic music, right? Long time supporter of my stuff. He said, "What got you interested and passionate about producing music?" And this is a good question because he's been asking me. He's like, "Yo, man, I'm trying to like learn how to like produce like EDM and whatnot." I'm like, bro, I don't make that, but I have a ton of friends that do. Like, let me point you towards their way. But I think that's a good question because he asked, what got you interested? And then the second part is what got you passionate? Because I think a lot of people can be interested, like, I know I definitely have some friends like from high school that like, I still, it's funny seeing people that have my CDs. I used to pass out my CDs and my little rap demos. They were so cringe and so poorly done, but hey, it was a good reminder, like, to those friends when they see me, like, constantly uploading me new music. It's like, oh, wow, he's actually about this. Even though I'm nowhere near the level where I want to be. Obviously, I'm thankful of all the small wins I got, but I still got a long way to go in terms of my career. And I think I'm thankful to see that my friends are starting to, and if not already, recognize that, like, this is really my passion and something I love to do and not just a phase. And there's nothing wrong with it being a phase because, like, you'll never know if you like it if you don't try it. So if you don't even dabble with trying to produce music, you'll never know if you're good at it or if you enjoy it and it gives you joy. So it's like, definitely, I'll tell this guy, Andre, to like, just, I told him like, I learned so much on YouTube, just countless tutorials, watching hours on YouTube University, man. I definitely learned more on YouTube about music production than I did at USC, unfortunately. But hey, they provided a good network. But to be honest, like, what got me interested, hip hop, dude. Like, before I got into music, I was into graffiti, like graffiti art, and like being a hip hop head, like that's one of the elements of hip hop is graffiti art. And I was always into drawing, so I was always into visual arts and all that. And I always had a love for music. My parents, they turn on the 80s radio station, 70s, 80s music all around me, right? I have two older siblings that are 10, 11 years older than me. They're showing me all the 90s R&B, early 2000s R&B and hip hop. So like, I had a huge, like, decades of music in my head of what people considered golden era, and like a lot of the styles nowadays are paying an homage to those eras, and it's really influential. So I was just into music, but I never, till this day, I don't claim I play an instrument. I mean, I did take classes on singing, drums. I know a little bit of theory on keyboard, but like, I found this thing, my laptop, to be my instrument, because like, I learned how to chop samples on YouTube, how to make beats, like just by constantly listening, watching tutorials, trying to recreate it, switch it up, trial and error, repeat, not knowing if what I was doing was right or wrong, but just getting the practice of getting my hands dirty is like that. Just being in it grew my love for it because I realized that it didn't seem like homework. It was really fun. It was like a hobby, you know. And then you get feedback like, "Yo, you're good," or "You suck," and even the ones that say you suck, they kind of fuel me too. So I'm like, "Nah, I'm gonna prove you wrong." Like, nah, I'm kidding. But like, and then I come out 10 years later when it still sucks. Like, oh shit, never mind. I guess I'm never gonna prove him wrong. But I think what a lot of people liked about the stuff I put out was how much confidence I had. Whether or not it was good or bad, objectively, I was always confident in putting stuff out that I put out. I never released something where I was like, I don't like it at that time. Because, like, if I don't like it at that time, you're never going to hear it. I won't even show it. But I was never afraid of putting stuff out and putting myself out there. And also, people always told me, like, James, you always sell yourself short. You got to put yourself out there more. I'm like, hi, man, I'm trying. I'm trying to find ways to do it where it doesn't come off annoying and spamming. And, it's a lot, again, like even marketing, like that's trial and error for me as much as it is producing, creating the music. So I think, yeah, the interest came from a different art form, right? Visual arts, drawing. The passion came about like me doing it actually gave me joy at that moment, regardless of the accolades or the good compliments or the insults and the critiques. Just it was therapeutic almost, just making music, like, and whatever that is for you, whether that's raving or playing sports or like doing math, I don't know, like it could be anything, man, like that you're into. You have to see how it makes you feel before you even like consider it to be like a career option, you know what I mean? Because the career option is a whole nother topic, and that's where people really get tested. Because me, I've definitely lost way more money than I have gained than just pursuing music, and I might have not made the smartest decisions career wise in terms of pursuing music, but man, I love it. Like, and people that follow me know that. So, and people could definitely see right through that because they'll know, like, after like, I don't know, 5 years, they'll see how you approach it and they'll be like, oh, this guy's either forcing himself to do it just to be cool or get attention, versus, oh, this guy actually loves what he's doing, but he just needs a little push. He just needs to meet the right person. He just needs to keep working on his craft and keep absorbing knowledge. So yeah, I didn't answer that question straightforward, but like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Is there something that you got interested or passionate about that maybe you didn't necessarily consider a career option, but like, or maybe you did, but like, you knew deep down like this is what you love to do, regardless or not if you made a living off of it?
Whew, man, yeah, that's been one of the things I've been thinking about a lot is how during this quarantine is how I guess how little how little like stock I've placed in my own like hobbies, right? Like I used to write poetry actually like a lot, like
Oh shoot.
yeah, like well known facts, David Dorsey. I used to write a lot of poetry, like just about my thoughts or about what I would see like walking home from school or like the things I would see like on the news, like watching sports, playing video games, and that's something that I've kind of hidden not only like from the world but from myself because I didn't see like I guess like a benefit to it. I didn't see that there was like I didn't see any real way that I could turn that into like something constructive for my life. But this whole quarantine has got me thinking that this is something that I do enjoy. This is something that like your homie said, I'm passionate about, not just interested in. Like maybe this is something I should like pursue, right? So that's something I'm actually planning on like looking into a little bit, within the next couple of weeks or however long we're in this,
Dude, I hope so, man. Cause like you mentioned earlier, a quote from Robert Frost, right? Like that's, correct me if I'm wrong. That's the two roads, right?
Yeah.
That's that guy. Right? I don't know too much about poetry, but like that's what he's famous for.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that's dope, man. I never knew that you were like, I don't know. You might have mentioned it when we were on that mission trip together, but I don't. Maybe I don't know, but that's tight, man. Like for sure, man. If I'll start seeing you like posting like all these different like stanzas and shit, I'm like, oh, that's tight, man. Like I wonder what inspired him to write that or whatever. Cause like, I mean, you listen to a lot of music too. A lot of that's just poetry with a lot of emphasis on rhyme, right?
Yep.
A lot of
Yep.
these songs don't even rhyme anymore. That's the crazy part. So it's like
Really don't.
just let your thoughts run free and make it a cool melody. And man, that's tight. Yeah, dude. I definitely love that about that is the positive thing about this quarantine is that like it's giving you space and a chance and more time to work on an avenue like something that you've always had in you. Um, I think yeah, it'd be dope if you shared it, regardless or not if it becomes quote unquote successful. It'll definitely help out people for sure. You know, you never know how someone's gonna interpret it. Like
Yeah.
even lyrics I write, I'm like just being whatever with it. Little did I know it helps someone get through their semester or whatever. It's like what? Like I guess I didn't.
I've been banging Lord First, man, ever since you sent me the invite via that video, man. That's been something I've been listening to, you know.
Oh, dude, thanks, man. Like, I don't know how holy that song is, but like, hopefully it did touch people in certain ways. I was just being real on it, but yeah, I mean,
Lord works in mysterious ways, man.
it does. Hey, shout out to you, man, for like being a part of that. I was really just looking for anybody in the area that was down that like had similar taste in my music, like that want to be part of the video. And man, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, like check out the Lord First music video. Shout outs to my friend John Kim like for putting that together, and my boys from Tri-Tip for being in that video. We're just like wilding out, just celebrating, jumping around. It's good vibes.
Yeah, good memories for sure.
So speaking of Tri-Tip, the second question is actually from Taro.
Hey, what up, Taro?
He didn't want me to say his name out here. I don't know why. No, but he said his question is, when you make beats high, are they better than sober ones?
Oh man.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a long answer to this, bro. But all right, I'll be honest. So, in college, right, USC, even since freshman year when I was roommates with the homie Jet, and then I became roomies with my high school homie Johnny from sophomore year to college. At that time, I was like, I haven't even like tried weed, bro. Like everything's secondhand in the room. Like my roommates were smoking. I'm just trying to cook up. So I don't even know if I was high in those sessions because it was like secondhand. It was just in the air. I was just creating. Yeah, I'll tell them to open the window, but then they'll invite their homies to chief up, and now it's like, well, shoot, what am I gonna do? Move my speakers like elsewhere, kick them out? Maybe I was too nice. No, but for real, I did try making beats high, and this is why it's always a slippery slope for me, and it's like a give or take, because being like an audio engineer, right, like mixing and recording, a lot of it's logical, a lot of it's math, right? You gotta like focus on the technicalities of the song, and when you're high, for me, the effects it does to me, I just can't focus, dude, and I'm slow, so it's like, well, there goes the session. But if I'm producing, it's just the benefit it had. It lowered down some anxieties and worries. So I stopped second guessing when I would hit certain notes on the keyboard. So it made me more free of a thinker. It was funny. I always tell like this to some of my homies that I definitely made songs that were in the wrong key, and I wouldn't know until a few days later because we were just like out of it. You know what I mean? It sounded good. It sounded right when we were making it. But I look back, I'm like, oh my god, I'm hitting the wrong key. But so are they better than the sober ones? I don't know. I've done way more sober ones than I have. Like me, I'm not the type where I'm super reliant on it. Like I could cook up sober, you know what I mean? But like even on the Serve the Poor album, the outro of the Serve the Poor track, where I just riff on the keyboard, like I was with my cousin and just light one up and like I was just going off, So that was cool, I didn't think it would go out of there, but I think at the end of the day, like everyone's different. People have their own things that they go to, their little routines they need to do to just get in the zone, right? Like me, what I've been doing recently, because I've been at home, before I cook up, like I make sure I have something to eat. I shower, like I do a full reset before I even go in. Because like I can't just cook up right when I wake up, because I'm like it's like a mind body loop type of thing, how my body feels affects my mind, vice versa. So I wouldn't say yeah, making beats high is better for me than sober, vice versa. But like, whatever your routine is, all I gotta say is careful. Don't be too reliant. You know, like. But hey, if it opens your mind and opens your possibilities, like, cool. Why not? You know, like I'm not gonna like if an artist came through right, and because like from an engineer standpoint you don't want people smoking in the room because like it's gonna ruin the equipment like on a technical aspect that smoke can ruin a lot of equipment, you know. But one of my biggest like people I look up to, Mike Dean, the producer audio engineer for Travis, Kanye, right, like he's always lighting up in his sessions like, and he has a ton of equipment, you know. So it's like, well, it's his equipment, he can do whatever he wants. But I mean, if an artist came to collab with me and like that's what helps them get in their zone, like as long as it's not like affecting me crazy negative, I'll take it. I'll deal with it. You know what I mean? Unless I'm at the level where I can control and have that leverage, where it's like, all right, in my studio, no smoking, like nothing, like everyone's sober, like, and if everyone's on the page and cool with that, then cool. I think it all comes with like just setting expectations clear from the jump. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want it to be like, hey man, this affects me when I'm working on music, and not be straightforward with the person, because then you're gonna come out with a really bad product. So I don't know if I answered your question, Taro, but yeah, man, it's like I'm not too reliant on it. Like some people are more than others, but I mean, what am I gonna do? Tell them I have my own vices, you know. I can't tell them what to do, what not to do. I can only say what I've gone through, and you can take that however you want it. So that's that's my whole take on that. Do you have any thoughts about that? I'm curious. Like,
Man, that's
for hip hop, I feel like 90% of that stuff was done under the influence of something. You know?
yeah. You know, I mean, I think for any like creative field, really, I think there's whatever you got to do to kind of open your mind and kind of release whatever like preconceived like kind of blocks you have on yourself. I feel like that can always be a benefit. But you know, when you're messing with substances that you may not know like how it affects your body, I feel like that's a little dangerous. But you know, I feel like if you're confident about how your body reacts with weed or like with whatever it is, whatever like drink you're like sipping on, I feel like it couldn't hurt as long as you have like a good like support group around you that's able to call you out when you're like like, hey yo, like this music you're making, it ain't it, and you're just killing your body right now, like that's all you're doing. But for me, like I wouldn't call myself like a big smoker or anything, but I definitely do enjoy weed to like help like I calm down or kind of like unwind, especially at the end of like a hard day, or like especially if I got like muscle cramps, I could definitely help with that. But I think to each his own, right? Like you said, I got my own vices, so
For sure.
I'm not going to judge.
Dude, man, I've been telling my mom that I've been getting certain muscle aches. Like, yo, you tried that CBD oil? Like, my cousin definitely gave like his dad to try it out. He's like, hey man, it actually feels good. Like, we've been telling you, man, we're in California. Just kidding.
Yeah, especially us being here in California and LA, especially, it's become a lot more like not only socially like acceptable, but more like I don't even know. It's like it's almost for me coming into college. Like I was the weird one because at the time I didn't smoke. Right, like I was the only one in my own friend group that wasn't like participating in like that kind of thing. But I think as the times change and as like especially as more scientific research gets done on like how like weed affects the brain, weed affects like productivity, I think that's going to be a lot more of like a normal thing. We're going to see like employers like, oh yeah, like you can take like your smoke break like after lunch something,
Yeah, dude. You know what I saw a lot in Japan when I was there? They have a lot of like rooms where people just could take smoke breaks, like with cigarettes and all that.
Oh
I'm
wow.
like, damn, imagine they had that in offices here, but for weed, like it's like a hot box. Like, you know what I mean?
I feel like we ain't that far from that. I mean, some companies got like they got like little happy hours like after and before lunch, and I'm like, hey, it's not that much different, like whether you like sipping on a 40 or whether you like You know.
That's tight. Speaking of that, are you looking forward to 420 or dude, Mike Dean's dropping an album on 420, bro. It's
Oh,
crazy.
I didn't even
I
know.
think I'm gonna cop that shit for sure, man. Like,
Yeah, and I love me some Mike Dean. Everything he touches, especially now, is just gold. You know.
this one's just a solo album. It's just like instrumentals of just him going off on the synthesizers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That
dude.
shit.
I think to add to that too, like, yeah, I mean, I was definitely like straight edge all of freshman year, dude, which was
Mhm.
crazy because at USC, like every all these kids that were so cooped up in their house, like tiger parents, like, and they just go off, like not even like a little bit, they just go wild freshman year, and I'm like watching everybody around me because I'm like, yeah, because I didn't start drinking till sophomore year, and I didn't
Mhm.
try weed until senior year, so it's like I think because I tried it late, I didn't get like too addicted to it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And same with alcohol, but like I'm super like occasional with it. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
if we're having an event, like sure. But
Yeah.
I think to end it with that note, I think one last thing was I think the artists that are can do both, like work under the influence and not
Mhm.
under the or above the influence, like I think they're like some of the best ones, right? Like, for example, my roommate, right? Shout out to Johnny. When we put out his album, Figments, like, and this is the first album like I produced. Like, it was all not me. You know what I mean? Like, and all not me on the track, but I produced all of it. Like, he would smoke a lot, but at times he would take a tea break and not smoke, and like I'll try to see if I could get lyrics or freestyles out of him. And because he practiced that more and more, he was able to write some stuff without being high. And I was like, damn, that's tight. You could do both. Like
Mhm.
he's not too reliant on it. But I mean, to each his own. And I think at the end of the day, what matters is just like awareness. You just gotta be aware of what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I think that's definitely like a good spot to end. Is there any like last remarks you want to make or shout outs or I mean you don't have to even you can shout out your link if you want people to follow you and check you out for whatever reason. Maybe you'll be uploading more poetry, who knows, like or other stuff like that you do. You can definitely plug that in. If not, any like last remarks or for anybody or yeah.
Nah, I mean, I feel like I said everything. I just want to thanks so much for like having me. You know, I'm excited to see the when this finally gets uploaded, and for those that are interested, follow me on Instagram at David Dorsey, and who knows, maybe see some poetry coming out soon after this quarantine and shit.
Are you gonna make it like with vocals? Are you gonna like or it's just like typed out or like what I mean?
We'll see. I mean, what I used to do was I would write down my journal first. Actually, I have some poetry written down from layup actually on like whatever.
Bro, we gotta hear that, bro.
Yeah, so maybe I might try like recording like me reading the poetry, see how that sounds, and see like, oh, am I comfortable with like putting this out, or maybe if I could find like an artist to do like a cool like backdrop on it, I could like upload a video or something with me reading it. We'll see. You
Yeah,
know.
man. You can send that to me too if you want, and if you want the vocals to be cleaned up, I could definitely do that for you, bro. Easy, like just anything to help you like put your art out there. I think I'm always excited for people to do that, like in any shape or form.
For sure, appreciate it, man.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Layno Pod, the LaynoProd podcast, episode 5, featuring my good friend David Dorsey.
All right, peace.
All right, peace.